Hello, in this lecture we will find the area of the blue triangle. Okay, uh, as you can see in the drawing, we have a rectangle and the rectangle contains three right triangles and also the blue triangle, and the areas of the three right triangles are given to us. The area of this right triangle is 27 units, the area of this right triangle is 12 units, and the area of this right triangle is 15 units. So actually, in order to find the area of this blue triangle, the only thing that we need to do is to find the area of this rectangle, and after we found the area of the rectangle, we will subtract the area of the rectangle, or we'll subtract the areas of the three right triangles from the area of the rectangle that we have found. And in this way we will find the area of the blue triangle. Okay, it is very simple, because the area of the rectangle minus the sum of the areas of the three right triangles equals to the area of the blue triangle. So let's set the width of the rectangle as a variable a. Okay, the width of the rectangle will be set as variable a, and the length of the rectangle will be set as variable b. Okay, and as you have already know, the width of a rectangle times the length of a rectangle equals to the area of a rectangle. Okay, so we can write here that the area of a rectangle equals to the width of the rectangle times the length of that rectangle. Okay, or in our specific example, the area of this rectangle will be a times b. Okay, so actually the only thing that we need to find in this question is the value of a times b, and after we will know the value of a times b, that is the area of this rectangle, we will subtract this area. We'll subtract the area of the free right triangle from the area of the rectangle, and we will get the area of the blue triangle. Okay? So we can define the base of the triangle, that is area is 15 units. The base will be defined as variable y. Okay, the base of the triangle, that is area is 15 units, will be defined as y. So you can see that immediately that the base of the triangle, of the right triangle, that is area is 12 units, will be equal to b, that is the length of the rectangle, minus the base of this triangle, that is y. So b minus y will be the base of the triangle, that is area is 12 units. Okay, and in the same way we can define that the height of the triangle, that is area is 27 units, will be defined as x. And we can immediately deduce that the height of the triangle, of the right triangle, that is area is 12 units, will be the width of this rectangle, that is A, minus the height of the rectangle, that is area is 27 units. So A minus x is the height of the triangle, that is area is 12 units. Okay? And we can also add the length of the rectangle is b, so I will write it here. So, as you have already know, the area of a triangle actually equals to the base of the triangle times the height to the base. All divided by 2. Okay, this is the formula for the area of a triangle. The base of the triangle times the height to the base divided by 2. Okay, the area of A triangle is the base of the triangle times the height to the base divided by 2. Okay, so we will implement this formula in order to find out the formula for the areas of the three right triangles. Actually, we know the areas of the three right triangles, but we want to create the formula for the areas that we have already know. In this way, we will create three equations for the three right triangles, and from those three equations we will get a quadratic equation that its variable will be AB, and as we solve the quadratic equation, we will get two answers for the AB, for A times B, that is the area of this triangle, and after we know what is the area of this rectangle, we'll get two equations, two answers for A times B, that is the area of this rectangle. And after we know the area of this rectangle, as I already told you, we will subtract from the area of the rectangle the sum of the areas of the three triangles, and we will get the area of the blue triangle. Okay, so we will start to create the formulas for the areas of the three triangles that we already know the areas, but we want to create the formulas for those areas that we already know in order to get the value of A times B. Okay, so we'll start to create the area of this triangle. Actually, the formula for the area of this triangle, that is area is 15 units. As I have already showed you, the area of a triangle equals to the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle divided by 2. So the base of this triangle, as you can see, is y, and the height of this triangle is A. We divide it by 2, and this is actually the area, but we know that the area equals to 15 units. Okay, so the area of this triangle equals to the base of the triangle, that is y, times the height of the triangle, that is A, all divided by 2. But we know that the area equals to 15 units, so we write that A equals to 15. So that is the first equation for the formula of the area of this triangle. Now we'll move to this triangle. The area, or the formula for the area of the triangle, that its area is 27x, will be the base of this triangle, that is B, B also is the the length of the rectangle, and is also the base of this triangle times the height of this triangle, that is x, all divided by 2. This is the area of this triangle, but we already know that the area equals to 27 units. So we will add that A equals to 27. So this is our second equation for the area of this triangle. And our third equation for the area of this triangle will be the base of the triangle, that is B minus y. B is the length of this rectangle and y is the base of this triangle, so the length of the rectangle minus the base of this triangle equals to the base of the triangle, that is area is 12 units. So the base, that is B minus y, times the height of this triangle that we have already computed, it is A times x. The height equals to A minus x. A is the width of the rectangle, and x is the height of the triangle, that is area is 27 units. So the width of the rectangle minus the height of this rectangle equals to the height of the width of the rectangle, that is A, minus the height of the triangle, that is area is 27x, equals to A minus x. Is the height of the triangle that is area is 12 units. So B minus y, the base of the triangle, times A minus x, that is the height of the triangle, divided by 2, equals to the area of this triangle. But we already know that the area of this triangle is 12 units, so we can add that A equals to 12. Okay, so now we will take y out of the first equation Actually, the first equation is y times a divided by 2 equals to 15. We can multiply both sides of the equation by 2. We will get that y times a equals to 30. Okay. We multiplied both sides of the equation by 2, so we got that y times a equals to 30. 2 times 15 is 30. Now we can divide both sides of the equation by a, because a can never be 0, because a is the width of this rectangle, and the width of the rectangle must be a positive number. So we can divide both sides of this equation by a. And actually we will get that y equals to 30 over a. Okay, so in this way we took out y from the first equation. We will do the same thing for x. After we divide both sides of this equation by A, we got that y equals to 30 over A. So now we will take out x from the second equation. The second equation is b times x divided by 2 equals to 27. This is the second equation, b times x divided by 2 equals to 37. We will multiply both sides of the equation by 2, and we will get that b times x equals to 54. Okay, we multiplied by 2 to both sides of the equation, so 27 times 2 is 54. Now we can divide both sides of the equation by b, because b can never be 0. B is the length of our rectangle, and the length of the rectangle must be positive, so it can never be 0, so we can divide both sides of the equation by b, and we will get that x equals to 54 over b. Okay, we divided both sides of the equation by b. We got that x equals to 54 over b, and y equals to 30 over a. So we got x and y out of their equations. Now we will substitute x and y in the third equation. We will substitute x by 54 over b, and we will substitute in the third equation, and we will substitute y by 30 over a in the third equation. Okay, so actually our third equation is b minus y times a minus 6 divided by 2 equals to 12. Okay, so this is our third equation. As I already told you, we'll substitute y by 30 over a, and we'll substitute x by 54 over b. Okay, so I already showed you x equals to 54 over b and y equals to 30 over a, so we can substitute x and y by their identities. Right. Okay. So it will be b minus y, and y equals to 30 over a times a minus x, and x equals to 54 over b, all divided by 2 equals to 12. So, as I've already told you, we substituted y by 30 over a and x by 54 over b. Okay, x equals to 54 over b, so we can substitute x by 54 over b, and y equals to 30 over a, so we can substitute y by 30 over a. Okay, now we will multiply both sides of the equation by 2. Here we substituted both sides of the equation by 2, and we got 12 times 2 is 24. Now we will open the brackets b times a is ba, or ab, it is the same, minus b times 50, b times minus 54 over b is minus 54, minus 30 over a times a is minus 30, and minus 30 over a times minus 54 over b is 1620 over ab, all equals to 24. Okay, so I will repeat again. B times a is ba or ab, b times minus 54 over b is minus 54, minus 30 over a times a is minus 30, and minus 30 over a times minus 54 over b is 1620 over ab. So here we can subtract from both sides of the equation 24. We get that a times b minus 54 minus 30 minus 24 plus 1620 over AB equals to 0. Okay, here we subtracted 24 from both sides of the equation. So we got that a times b minus 54 minus 30 minus 24 plus 1620 over AB equals to 0, because 24 minus 24 is 0. Now minus 54 minus 30 minus 24 equals to negative 108, so we write it down. Okay, so I've already told you, minus 54 minus 30 minus 24 equals to negative 108, and here it was AB, so we copied it here, and here the subtraction of these three numbers equals to negative 108, and we copied as it is 1620 over AB equals to 0. So here we can multiply both sides of the equation by AB. As I've already told you, A and B must be positive numbers, and when you multiply two positive numbers by each other, you will always get a positive number, and you will never get 0, so we can multiply both sides of the equation by AB. So we get that AB square, because AB times AB is AB square, negative 108 times AB is negative 108 AB, and 1620 over AB times AB is 1620, and 0 times AB is 0. Okay, repeat again. We multiplied both sides of the equation by AB, so AB times AB is AB squared, and negative 108 times AB is negative 108 AB, and 1620 divided by AB times AB will give us 1620, and 0 times AB is 0. Okay, so we got here a quadratic equation, and actually in order and the variable in this quadratic equation is AB, and AB is, as I've told you, AB is the area of the rectangle. So when we solve this quadratic equation, we will get the values of AB, and we will have the answer, because as I already told you, the area of the rectangle, that is A times B, minus the sum of the areas of the three right triangles will be equal to the area of the blue triangle. Okay, so the general form of a quadratic equation is A times x squared plus b times x plus c equals to 0. Okay, so this is actually the general form of a quadratic equation. A times x squared plus b times x plus c equals to 0 is the general form of a quadratic equation. So A, B, and C in this equation are the coefficients of the quadratic equation. So I will write it down. A B, and C are the coefficients of this quadratic equation. Okay, A, B, C are the coefficients of this quadratic equation, and x is the variable that we want to find when we solve any quadratic equation. Okay, I will write it down. X is the variable that we want to find when we solve a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation. And in our specific example, x equals to ab, so when we find the value of AB, we will know what is the area of the rectangle, because the A times B, as I already told you, is the area of this rectangle. So x is the variable of the quadratic equation that we want to find when we solve a quadratic equation. And we also have a special formula to find x. Okay, and the special formula to find the values of x, the values of x are also called the roots of the quadratic equation. The roots of the quadratic equations are the solution to the quadratic equations. This is the value of x. And the special formula to find x is x equals to minus b plus minus the root of b squared divided by 4ac minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, as you can see, we have x plus minus, so it implies that we might have two different answers for x, or we will have two roots for the quadratic equation. Okay, so this is the special equation for x. By solving this equation, we will find the value of x that is also the root of the roots of this quadratic equation. Okay. So now we will implement what we learned about the quadratic equation. We will implement it in our quadratic equation. Okay, so first of all, I write down our quadratic equation. AB square minus 108 AB plus 1620 equals to 0. Okay, this is our quadratic equation. AB square minus 108 times AB plus 1620 equals to 0. Okay, so now we will find A, B and C in our quadratic equation. Here we will multiply AB square by 1. You can multiply by 1 whatever you want. You will not change the expression, because every number that you multiply by 1 will be the same. Okay, so we can multiply AB square by 1. Then we will write below the general formula for the quadratic equation, that actually equals to A times x square. I will put x in brackets, it doesn't matter, minus 100 minus b plus b times x plus c equals to 0. And here, as you can see, A equals to 1, and here B equals to negative 108. You can see it as plus. It is the same if you add a plus, it will not change anything. So it is like plus minus 108. So B equals to negative 108 and C equals to 1620. Okay, and actually X equals to A times B. Okay, so I'll write it down. X equals to A times B, A equals to 1, B equals to negative 108, and C equals to 1620. Okay. Okay, x equals to a times b. You can see it here. A equals to 1, b equals to negative 108, and c equals to 1620. Okay, so the next step is to use the equation for x in order to find out the value of AB, that is the area of the triangle. Because as you can see here, x equals to a times b, and x, so a times b is the area of the rectangle, and the area of the rectangle minus the areas of the three right triangles will be equal to the area of the blue triangle, and that is what we want to find. Okay, so first of all, I will write again the formula for x, and below I will implement it for our case, for our quadratic equation. The general equation for x to solve a quadratic equation, to find the roots of a quadratic equation, is x equals to minus b, and as I already told you, a, b, and c are the coefficients of the quadratic equation. Okay, we've already found the values of a, b, and c in our specific quadratic equation. A equals to 1, b equals to negative 108, and c equals to 1620. Okay, so the general formula to solve a quadratic equation for x is minus b. X equals to minus b plus minus the root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay, so this is the equation for x, the equation that will help us to find the value of x, or to find the roots of the quadratic equation. And in our case, it helps us to find the value of a times b, because x equals to a times b, and a times b is the area of the rectangle. So x okay, this is the general equation for x. It equals to minus b plus minus the root of b squared minus 4 times ac divided by 2a. Okay, so it is x minus b plus minus, so we will have here two different solutions for x, or you can say that we will have two roots for the quadratic equation. It will not always be two roots, but it might be that we will have two different answers for a times b, that is x. Okay, so we will implement this general equation for our case. As you can see here, x equals to a times b, so we write it down. A times b equals to minus b, and b equals to minus 108, so minus b is minus 108, so minus 108 is actually 108, because minus times minus is a plus. Minus and minus is a positive. So minus b equals to minus 108, that is 108, plus minus the root of b squared, and b equals to negative 108, yes? So b squared is the square of negative 108, yes? 108 in square, minus 4 times a is 1, times c is 1620. Okay? All divided by 2a, and 2a is 2 times 1, because a equals to 1. Okay, you can see again, minus b is minus 108, that is plus 108, plus minus b squared, b equals to minus 108, so b squared is minus 108 squared, minus 4ac, and a equals to 1 and c equals to 1620, so it is 4 times 1 times 1620. Okay, so now we'll do the calculations. So a times b equals to 108 plus minus the root of, so 108 square is 11,664 minus 4 times 1620 is equals to 6,480, all divided by 2. Okay, I will repeat again. Minus 108 square equals to 11,664, and 4 times 1 times 1620 equals to 6,480. So we subtract 11,664 from 6,480. We get that a times b equals to 108 plus minus the root of 11,664 minus 6,480 equals to 5,184 all divided by 2. So here 11,664 minus 6,480 equals to 5,184, and the root of 5,184 is 72. So I already told you the root of 5,182 equals to 72. So we have 108 plus 72 divided by 2. So it will be 180 divided by 2 equals to 90. So the first answer for A times B is 90. Okay, 108 plus 72 divided by 2, 108 plus 72 equals to 180, and 180 divided by 2 equals to 90. So the first answer for A, B, that is actually the area of the triangle is 90 units. The area of the triangle equals to 90 units, but we have also the second solution for A times B. We will check it out. The second solution is actually 108 minus 72 divided by 2. Okay, in the original equation for x, we have x equals to minus b plus minus. So we have two answers for x. The first is minus b plus root, and the second answer is x equals to minus b minus the root. Okay, so the second answer is A times B equals to 108 minus 72 divided by 2. 108 minus 72 is 36, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So the second solution for AB is actually here 108 minus 72, 36, and 36 divided by 2 equals to 18. But 18 is not correct answer for AB, because even this right triangle is greater than 18, yes? And the rectangle contains the three right triangles, and the area of the three right triangles in total, the sum of the areas of the three right triangles equals to 54 units. So the rectangle contains those three right triangles. So the area of the rectangle must be greater than 54 units. So it cannot be 18 units. So we left only with the one answer, that is the area of this triangle, of this rectangle, equals to 90 units. So after we know that the area of the rectangle is 90 units, we subtract from the area of the rectangle the sum of the areas of the three right triangles, that is 15 units plus 27 units plus 12 units, or okay, the area of the rectangle minus the sum of the areas of the three right triangles will be equal to the area of the blue triangle. So the sum of these three numbers are actually 54. And the area of the rectangle minus the areas of the three right triangles in total equals to the area of the blue triangle. So the area of the blue triangle equals to 36 units. Okay. Okay. So we can write here that the area of this blue triangle equals to 36 units. So we can summarize the lecture. We actually wanted to find the area of this blue triangle. As we already know, when we already know the areas of these three right triangles. So the area of this blue triangle will be the area of the rectangle minus the sum of the areas of these three right triangles. So the only thing that we have to find is the area of this rectangle. And the area of a rectangle is its width times its length, or A times B. So the only thing that we have to find is the value of A times B. That is the area of the rectangle. So in order to find the value of A times B, we actually created three equations for the three right triangles. We already know the areas of those three right triangles, but we will create the formula in order to calculate the area of these three right triangles. And we found out that the area of this triangle with 15 units, that is area is 15 units, is the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle divided by 2. So y times a divided by 2 is the area of this triangle, equals to 15. Y times a divided by 2 equals to 15. This is the first equation that we created. Then we created the second equation for the area of the formula of the area of this right triangle. That is also the base of the triangle, that is b, times the height of the triangle, that is x, divided by 2. So b times x divided by 2 equals to the area of that this triangle that equals to 27, or b times cx divided by 2 equals to 37. This is the second equation that we created. And the third equation that we created is for this right triangle, and the area of this right triangle equals to the base of the triangle, that is b minus y, times the height of the triangle, that is a minus x. So b minus y times a minus x divided by 2 is the area of this triangle, that equals to 12 units. So we created those three equations for the areas of those three right triangles, and from those three equations we actually get a quadratic equation that the variable of that quadratic equation was a times b. From those three equations that we created, we got a quadratic equation. This is the quadratic equation that we got, and in this quadratic equation a times b is the variable of this quadratic equation. So by solving this quadratic equation, we actually will find the value of a times b, and a times b is the area of the rectangle. Okay, so we actually found two solutions for a times b. The first solution was 90 units, and the second solution was 18 units, but 18 units it is impossible because the sum of the areas of those three right triangles equals to 54, and the rectangle contains those three triangles, so the area of the rectangle must be greater than 54 units. So 18 units is impossible, it's not correct answer, and the only answer that we left with is that the area of this rectangle is 90 units. So we'll subtract from the area of this rectangle that is 90 units the areas of those three rectangles in total, that is 54. So 90, the area of the rectangle, minus the sum of the areas of those three right triangles, that is 54, equals to 36, and 36 is the area of this blue triangle. Okay, thank you very much.